the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Boo.
Do you remember what kind you got?
There's different kinds. All I know is I had to get naked and lay on a fucking cold ass steel table, and then the guy fucking tugged and pulled my fucking vas deferens out and snipped them and cauterized them.
Okay, so that was the same.
Yeah, and that was probably the worst part of all of it.
Really?
The recovery wasn't bad, but the feeling uncomfortable feeling of having your vas deferens yanked out of your ball sack, that was not happy. You know what I mean? And then being just real gentle around the fact that I know I had holes cut in my sack. You know what I'm saying? Like afterward.
Okay, wait. Okay, well, now here we go. If ever there was a segue to episode 200, Sad Dads Club podcast, I'm Lord Fu.
I'm Jim.
And we're talking about vasectomies.
Oh, yeah. Have you had them?
Okay. Okay. Now, did you have your doctor or the nurse shave your nuts?
No. I think.
Did you pre-shave?
I don't even remember that bit. I don't remember.
Because I don't remember exactly. Well, here's the.
I'm not super hairy downstairs.
Right. So I am not one that's shy about keeping the manscaping tidy.
Yeah.
So when they said, I don't even think it was a directive. It was just, well, they're going to be down there.
Yeah.
So I'll
clean it up.
I'll shave the shit.
Yeah. I'll go to the bowling alley and use the ball polisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fucking, here we go. Let's tidy the boys up.
Yeah. A couple bucks in there. You're polished.
I'm telling you right now, there's side benefits to that anyway. Anyway, so when I showed up and like dropped trowel and the nurse is like, oh, well, okay. So
I'll have to find something else to do.
Yeah. So we're skipping that part of the procedure. And I went, I'm sorry. And she went, oh, well, it looks like you've already handled. And I went, oh, yeah, yes. So then and it was a thing too when the doctor came in, because he came in with the kidney shaped, he's gonna irrigation bin.
He's gonna pull like a bullet out of your nuts and drop it in there. Tink.
Yeah, clang.
Yeah.
And a razor, like what looked like the really good kind.
Yeah.
With like the square blade on it. And he went, oh, well, fantastic. You've already done the prep work. And I went, yes. And so he just fucking straight up went to town.
Yeah.
And I went, well, yeah, And it always made me wonder, like,
what do they have to deal with?
Right. Like, to what extent?
They probably see everything from that to, like, horrifying.
Like, how much?
We need to schedule another hour for this guy.
Give me the surgical hedgers
and also the Toro weed whacker.
Yeah. Do we have some sort of die grinder? Like, can we get one of those? Help.
Well, the problem with the die grinder is the hair wraps around the spindle.
Yeah, like your weed eater, like the head.
Exactly.
Fuck. Here, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'd always wondered, like, how much of that procedure
is spent just in the weed whacking department.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it's that they're not completing the ball back in total. Mm-hmm. They're just working a region for the incision stuff. And I would get that. But that would seem even more awkward. I mean, they're not there. They're not a fucking nail salon, so they're not like, oh, well, we're going to clean up the whole thing for you here, sir.
Right.
Guarantee you the beegers are going to feel a lot better after this. Well, after the healing process, ha ha ha. But you're a medical doctor.
Yeah.
And you are shaving my balls.
I mean, that seems like a third of your day is just spent like cleaning up someone's sack.
Right. Especially if it's formidable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, I don't bother with that kind of thing at all. It's like, well, you're going to be down there for 10 to 15 minutes to do a surgical quality job.
Now, it seems like it would be the nurse's job to do the nut shaving, and then they would hand you off to the
my nurse did nothing but like just prep me on the table. My doctor came in with the razor and tub.
Ready. He was
expecting to shave the nuts.
Okay.
So, and
a Norelco.
It was a male doctor, so I don't think I had to. I don't think a nurse was there the entire time.
Did he say anything like just a little off the top?
Yeah. Looking for a fade down here, bro?
Yeah. You want full Brazilian?
Yeah. Listen, buddy. I put a good 20 minutes into that stuff, but I left the taint for you. I need you to clean that up. Could you?
I can't. I have a hard time seeing down there.
Yeah.
Unless I'm squatting over a mirror.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if the shadow is me or the stuff I've left to wilds.
Yeah.
Can you?
That's just not a place you want to be nicking yourself.
Yeah, help a brother out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd rather cut my head, shaving my head, than downstairs shaving there.
Yeah,
I don't want to nick that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad juju.
Yeah.
Clean razors only. Like clean, fresh razors.
Yeah. What if you walked in and, sorry, and then start manscaping yourself right there? Right. Zzz,
I guarantee you, I'll be faster at this than you will.
Is that what they call it? What did Manscaped call their? It's like the something mower. Mower 3.0 or something like that. Yeah. I just think that's funny. Chandler he needed a shaver of some kind for some reason. He wanted an electric, maybe for his face. I don't even remember what it was for. And he ended up buying a Manscaped 2 or 3 at Target or something. And then he got it home and realized it was for balls. And he was like, I don't need that shit. And he took it back.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
He should need that shit.
I know. Well, now he doesn't matter.
Why? Oh, because he's a kept man?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It doesn't matter anymore.
I'm going to give you a sad dad's tip. You should keep that shit.
True.
Hey.
Yeah. What's the joke? Is the tree looks taller when the bushes are trimmed?
Yeah. Dude, some people don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But
right.
I assure you, when you keep the shrubbery at bay, everyone's sporting redwoods.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of Chandler, so we had a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
That kid moved out. He has moved out.
Bye, Felicia.
Last weekend, they had a kind of an interesting thing. For a couple months, we knew they were moving.
Right.
And they were going to move to an apartment, which was oddly the apartment complex that Shanna and I lived in before we lived in our house that we're in now. So that was 26 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
Long time ago. And it's 26 years ago.
Are they? Okay.
They're nice apartments.
I was going to say, have they been refurbished since?
Yeah, they've, probably depending on how long, someone's lived in them.
Right.
But apparently they have like granite countertops and all of, that kind of stuff. But they were going to move into those apartments and they were all qualified and they had been looking forward to it for a couple of months. And then they were supposed to move last Saturday and on Monday.
Couple of months.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Couple months. They were qualified and ready to move in. And then Monday before Saturday, they get a call from the apartment complex. You're not qualified to move in.
Something is flagged on a something, and you're not good.
I think it was Nicole's credit was flagged for something. And it was something that she didn't know about. So she found out it was like a $200 outstanding thing that she went and paid for. Well, that doesn't just drop off your credit right away.
No.
You know what I mean?
Convenient for all of us middle-class people.
Right.
Who need good credit numbers.
Also, why is the United States the only damn country that does this shit? You know what I mean? Credit ratings is what I'm talking about.
America.
Yeah. Anyway, so they were left scrambling because they are 4 or 5 days away from moving in.
Right.
And so Chandler got on like the apartments.com app or something like that and just happened to come across this condo that was a little bit more expensive per month. But instead of being a 1-bedroom apartment, was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. And a garage, and their apartment would have had a garage, but this was like instead of a shared garage with one of the other tenants, it's their own garage, right?
Okay.
And it's a condo instead of an apartment, which is kind of like an apartment, but you're renting someone's place.
Okay.
He like called the guy, and he's like kind of told him what was going on. The guy's like, I don't care about any of that stuff. Just fill out the application. And Chandler's like, okay. Filled out the application. The guy's like, yeah, sure. Let's meet. And you can walk through the place, And so we all kind of met there one day and walked through. It's real nice little place. It's got, he put like a bunch of money into it. It's got wood floors in much of the house. It's had in places where there's carpet, like in the bedrooms, he had brand new carpet, brand new, looks like quartz or something, countertops. Faucets, some new appliances. Like, this is a nice little place. And so they're like, yeah, let's do it. So they decided, and then they got the keys early, which shifted move day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we did. We ended up getting him pretty much in. He's got some stuff at the house still that he needs to come pick up. But it was like they moved into their apartment, and then like they were there for a day, and then like on day 2 they had to go to San Diego for a thing with Nicole's parents for their anniversary.
Okay.
So they haven't even really spent that much time there. Only a couple of nights before they had to bolt. But
we ran across, and without trying to delve too much into whatever Nicole's thing was.
Yeah.
The apartment where they were supposed to be going into.
Yeah.
Like, Venus and I instantly went off the rails on like how fucking shady that whole scenario sounded, because from what you described to me, their deposit was non-refundable.
Well, they had a $400 deposit at the apartment complex to hold the space that was non-refundable.
Right.
So if they backed out, they kept it, which is essentially what happened. They basically told them to pound sand, and they got to keep their $400, which is totally fucked up. Because I'm like, is there some sort of stipulation that you can get your money back? And they're like, no.
But they were given a move-in date.
Yeah. I know.
Correct?
It seems like there is some wiggle room there.
Right.
To be able to go back to them and say, like, you are the ones that fucking told us.
Right. If you get enough, if you get through enough of the approval process that you are giving me a move-in date, of which I am starting to set deadlines for, and I'm aligning utilities and all these other things, and then days, not weeks, days before, you all of a sudden come up with a red flag where you then get to say, we're pulling the plug and we get to keep your deposit. To me,
well, I don't know
with only the stuff that we know, that seems shady upon shady. Now, if they weren't actually approved for the place, that kind of makes it a wash. But from what Chandler and you had described, it sounded like the application process had completed,
right,
and they had been approved, and so then they were given a unit and a date, and they were just biding their time until the date arrived. To then get a donkey punch seems like, well, how often does that fucking shit happen?
Right.
Because that sounds shady as shit. Like, who's cross-checking to make sure that these people aren't banking, like a hypothetical situation where they go, they run that first application process and they see something on Nicole's or Chandler's or a tenant. They see an applicant's red flag and they say, yes, approve it, because when we get to 3 weeks down the road, we can pull it because of the red flag. And that is a banked $400. So
for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it is a no, a non-condition, no refund, $400 deposit, and no one questions it? Wow, fucking that definitely sounds like some shady shit.
I agree, and it's not my money, and it's not my...
Right.
But if it were mine, I'd be pissed about $400, and I would definitely be going in there and being like, dude,
okay,
this is fucked up.
Describe to me again. Yeah, because really, for me, it stems entirely upon, was I approved when you gave me a date?
Correct.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
No? Okay, well then...
How did we get here?
How did I get a date if you didn't approve anything?
Right.
Like, what was my application submission good for at the time in which I put it in? And you said, this is good enough for a date.
Yeah.
Either you ran it right then and you were chill with it, and that's why I gave you then $400 to give me a date, or it wasn't, and you did this so that you could fucking take $400 of my bucks.
I agree.
And now I'm livid as shit.
Yeah. The thing of it is Chandler and Nicole are both 25-year-old adults.
Right.
And it's up to them on whether or not they want to fight that fight. Me personally, I'd be a little pissed about $400. I'd be in there telling them I want my fucking money back.
Sure.
For sure.
Especially if, right, this is like a work thing. Like, there are some things, certainly, even though they're young, and you could spread this depending on your age and how much you're working or whatnot. But a thing I've learned from my work is there are some things where you can plant a flag, and that's a fight that's worth fighting.
Right.
And there are some things, well, even though it's wrong, whatever your position,
it's not worth the effort.
or the time and the effort. You may be in the right in an attempt to plant a flag, but you're not going to win the fight. So it's like nothing about the scenario sits well, but you're not going to win that battle because A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever the fuck it is. So
I would.
Right.
I totally would. It's not.
I would definitely start asking questions. I'd be like, hey, man, listen, we submitted this application X days ago.
Yep.
You gave us a date.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, they had stuff like they had bought a couch. They went to Living Spaces and bought a couch, and had the delivery was set for Saturday.
Right. That's what makes the whole thing tastes bad.
Yeah, they had
you gave me a date.
Roseville Electric set up, turn on their power at a certain date. They had, everybody, whoever. I think Comcast. They had Comcast set up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For their internet service. Like they ended up having to switch all the shit last minute for the new place, and having Living Spaces change their delivery place address.
What's Living?
That's that sort of kind of like higher end IKEA kind of place that's over there by Topgolf.
Oh, I don't think I've been over there.
You haven't heard the commercial? Living Spaces.
No. I watch YouTube.
It's
TV.
not really. It's not really IKEA. I don't think it's like put it together yourself furniture, but it's like
not flat packs.
No, it's like cheaper furniture, I guess.
So somewhere between IKEA and RC Willey.
Somewhere in there.
Okay,
but a little bit more fashionable. It's sort of I don't know. They have nice stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, they have decent stuff.
It's not
and it's
Kmart.
Not super cheap by any stretch of the imagination. I think they still spent $1,200 or $1,500 on a couch.
Oh. Couches aren't cheap, man.
No.
God damn it.
You go to RC Willey and they're like $3,000 or $4,000.
I don't have that kind of money anymore.
It's crazy.
Fucking Obama.
But so it's we got, for the first time in a long time, I have a room in my house that is almost completely empty.
Almost?
Well, like I said, there's still some stuff in there. There's a IKEA cabinet that's on the wall that he has to come take off.
Okay.
It's got like LPs and shit in it and a bunch of stuff like that. There's some other things that are on the floor still in that room.
Yeah.
Shanna's all excited. She can put her clothes rack in there with a fan and not have it be out in the way. And then
just start putting it in a box, and then And then have him open up his garage door and just start putting it right in the middle of his garage door.
It's not, no.
Garage floor.
No, he can come get it.
Oh.
Why do I have to do it? I already moved.
Because then it's not your problem.
I already moved a sleeper sofa and a bunch of shit up the fucking stairs to that place.
Yeah.
I already moved a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I got to do the rest? This is the easy shit.
Oh, I mean, it was that or throw it in the trash.
That room's going to need help. I mean, it's going to need flooring. It's going to need paint.
A black light?
Oh, no. The paint will cover up. No, the flooring's going to come out. We'll probably going to put carpet in there and replace the carpet because it seems, in our opinion, it's kind of weird to have a bedroom with no carpet. I don't know. We're thinking about it, but yeah, I mean it's like a dark green paint on the walls in there that he painted a couple years ago, and it needs to be repainted. It's not a paint job I would have done. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, dark green.
Yeah, it's like
gonna be like multiple.
Oh, I know.
Fucking.
I'm gonna have to get 5 gallons of Kills or something.
Yeah.
Spray it
primer,
on.
Primer.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. But already there's a hole in the fucking door. I had to fix they had been broken for a while, but the sliding closet doors had been broken for a while. I would just a little bit timid about fixing them because it seems like once that shit gets touched, it's never the same again.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. We had the house recarpeted a number of years ago, long time ago when I think Melanie was baby. That's how old the carpet is in the house, if that gives you any indicator.
Mm-hmm.
But when the carpet got replaced and they put the closet doors back in, they were never right again. Melanie's is fucked up. I just bought new hardware for hers. Chandler's has been broken for a while. It had been monkeyed with. I think Raj came over at one point to try and fix it.
I want to say ours is that way too. It's like
I bought this new kit.
Random block that's like anchored to or hot stapled into the goddamn concrete that's given way since some other douchebag tried to carpet over it. It's like not right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
Well, what
guys.
happened to ours is the rails that the wheels hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the trim on the front of the closet sticks down so far, the rails are up real high, and the way that the doors go in is you're supposed to cock the doors at like an angle,
right?
And then the bottom of the wheel goes into the to the roller, and then the door swings in and it stays on.
Right.
Well, because of the trim at the top, you can't put the door at the angle, so everyone was like forcing the door in.
Oh.
And the wheels would bend the rails.
Right.
So the rails would be like, the wheels, and then they would just come off. You know what I mean? So that's essentially, that's what I figured out essentially what happened.
Right.
So I went and bought brand new hardware, like new rails, new wheels, the whole nine, the fucking thing on the floor.
Right.
Like a whole kit.
Okay.
And oh my God, you can just like one finger and it just goes across there. I'm like, shit, do I need to buy the $55 soft close kit for this shit? Because it's just like slam.
Bang.
Yeah.
Bang.
But man, it's smooth. And I just bought a new kit for Millie's. And I'm like, I told Millie, well, as soon as you move to Oregon, which is in like 3 weeks or whatever, I'll fix yours.
No. So you fixed Chandler's?
Yeah, Chandler's is fixed. So now it's the spare room.
Nice.
And eventually it'll be my office.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, I mean, like I said, I don't want to work in this dark, dank, beat-up room.
Right.
So it's going to take some work to get there.
Mm.
You know. So that's a change at my house.
Right. So you don't really want to put too much into setting up your office because you're going to have to paint.
And pull flooring out.
Yeah, yeah.
The flooring's got to come out.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
And I mean, we're going to just paint it the same color as the rest of the house, which is like a light gray. And then all the trim needs to be cleaned up. I mean, it's, you know, the closet doors are jacked from where they were rubbing on each other because they were fucked up for a while.
Mm.
It's a mess. So that room needs help. There is green, like paint drips on a bunch of the white trim around the door and on the baseboards. I mean, it just needs to be.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
very 20-year-old paint job.
Oh yeah, I just get it on the wall. I don't even care. And I'm like, I cannot be in here for this. I did not help with that paint because that was not yes, that was not the quality of the paint that I have put on the rest of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Just,
and I think
to get stressed out.
In order for me to fix it, I'm going to have to paint the ceiling and the walls because I'm not going to match the paint that's on the ceilings. So, because I don't even know where the fuck I got that paint. So I have to buy a new ceiling paint the ceiling, and I'll probably just cover the corners and come down a couple inches and then paint the rest with fucking 4 coats.
But it'll be your office, so you'll get to like dial it in perfect for you.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
But.
And I'll have to go buy a desk. I mean, it's like, cool, you moved out. And now it's like I get to spend flooring money and I got to spend a bunch of time painting and cleaning and.
And don't come back, bitch.
There won't be a room for you to come back to.
Yeah. You get to sleep on the couch.
Pretty much, if you have to come back, this room is
not available.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
You're sleeping in the caddy in the garage.
No, you're not. Not in my car. Anyway, so interesting stuff. Times are changing. Sad dad kind of, it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It'll be interesting for what your 2.0 version of Empty Nest is like when Melly goes 2.
Well, it's going to be, what's different is Melanie is, she's going away to grad school. So the expectation, I think, right now is that after grad school, she'll come home before she.
But that's like 2.
That's like 3 years.
2-3 years?
That's 3 years.
She'll be.
Maybe a little less because.
24, 25?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe she'll like get a job or something and decide she has the money for a place of her own.
But you'll still. When I meant empty nest, I meant like
in the house,
a lengthy, lengthy space and time where it's just the two of you.
I know. Is it? We even going to be able to like tolerate each other? We don't even know. I mean, we've had this situation when Melanie went to school
there before.
And Chandler left. Yeah, I mean, But you know what happens? Here's what happens. Here's what I figured out what happens. The house just gets really chill.
Yeah.
It gets really chill. And the thing of it is I can put something down.
Yeah.
And later on, it will still be there.
Because no one will have fucked with it.
No one will have fucked with it. And also, my tools will remain where they are.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I'm now missing a whole shitload.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, Yeah.
To
have just fucking random sockets and shit and like tools that are just missing. Because
that's not cool.
Let me give you an example. For Christmas, I'm pretty sure Chandler bought me it was a tool set of like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch extensions and like wobbly bits and all kinds of stuff, like a whole kit.
Okay.
A real nice little set, right?
Okay.
I think I used it once. It's already missing pieces out of it. Don't know where they are.
Wasn't you.
Wasn't me because I put the shit back where it belongs.
Right.
So.
Where'd that go, son?
Yeah. I did have this discussion with him, actually. I'm like.
Here you go. This kit is yours. I would like my kit.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're moving him, and all of a sudden, here comes this decent-sized red kit, and he opens it up. It has all the shit in it. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. You have a kit of tools that I've never seen that has every fucking piece in it. It's not missing anything. But yet, here's my set that you've been abusing for years, and it's missing pieces.
Right.
Don't you see a problem with that?
Yeah. Tell you, I'm taking your shit, fucker.
Yeah. It's that stuff's been very frustrating for me.
we had, because Venus is on the tail end the entire house tested negative on Saturday for COVID. So we're
it's about time.
Clean and clear. But the county, she still has like a dry cough, like every once in a while, like a tickle cough. You know what? It's not like a full blown like I'm trying to cough something up.
Right.
It's like that.
Just an
irritant cough.
Okay.
So she still has something like that every once in a while, and she checked in over the weekend, like, boss, like, hey, I tested negative, so come into the office. Didn't hear back. So Monday, while she gets COVID pay, she was like, I want to telecommute. I'm like, that's not how that works. That's not fair. Like, you tested negative. You can't unsee that. You should be back in the...
Right.
And she's like, yeah, but... Anyway, her boss, no one responded. So she went to the office Monday, only to then get turned around because the office policy is if you are still showing any symptoms after a COVID, you don't come in.
So the cough was enough.
The cough was enough to get her into a telecommute situation. Now.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, here's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
So I have been telecommuting since
the dawn of time,
like Y2K-ish, on and off.
Yeah.
So this is 22 years. So it's a lot of time. And Venus roughly stopped working to be dedicated to mom life since Piper. So 18 years of non-work has put us in a space where she would do errands during the day, but she would relatively, for the most part, leave or be out of sight, out of mind. Monday was the first instance of a scenario where I am telecommuting and my wife is telecommuting.
Uh-huh.
And I cannot tell you how many times the sexual harassment jokes came up.
Apparently the training doesn't work.
Yeah, that shit don't work because I have no problem walking pants to the ankles to go get my water.
Right.
Like, hey, how's it going? Kind of thing. Well, she's trying to focus.
Mm-hmm.
It was, goddamn, so many jokes. But it allowed her an opportunity to be working from home, and it was interesting to see a home where finally the two of us were both working.
Yeah.
And remote working at the same time.
Yeah.
I busted her balls yesterday because she, I'm good about standing up. I'm good about my water breaks. I'm good about taking my lunch. Just because you're not in an office, you are afforded the same shit. Your 15-minute breaks, your hour lunch, your 15-minute afternoon breaks, stand breaks, shit that to make you comfortable as far as ergonomics and shit. I think we got towards the tail end of yesterday, and she said some shit like, well, I hadn't eaten lunch yet. And I went, well, newbie.
Mm.
No.
That's a tough adjustment.
Like, that's not how this works, my dear.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to eat. You need to take your hour lunch break.
Yeah.
Even if no one can see it,
right.
You take your break because
I'm an exempt employee, so they don't give a rip.
I'm like, you need to. you need to. And she's got a new water jug. I'm like, hey, have you been drinking your water? Have you taken your stand breaks? But now, I'm like, trust me. This is, Kim, hashtag Kim, and my sister have all asked me the same, because they both transitioned to telecommuting in the last year or so. Both of them were like, what are the things like I need to do? Like, it may sound like a joke, and it may sound like, HR shit. I'm like, you really do want to take those breaks. You really do want to stand up and definitely get your lunch. Take that hour.
I'm terrible at it still.
It's hard. It is hard.
I'm not an hourly employee. I'm exempt. So it's like,
I don't think that matters, does it? You should still be afforded the breaks and the lunch.
You do. You still get them, but it's sort of like, when I take my lunch, I'm not taking my lunch away from my desk. I go get food and bring it back, and then I sit at my desk and do shit.
Hey, and that happens too.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not. I do that too.
Yeah.
But I will go get my lunch and then bring it back to my desk.
Yeah.
And not work.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Now, it happen. I mean, it's not every time.
Yeah.
So I'm not perfect.
What?
But I know. But for the most part, I have learned that at least to get up and go make my lunch and bring it back and disconnect from work, because part of that is because I'm just jaded old fuck, and I'm like, you can't take this from me, bitch.
Well, it's funny because I think it was last week, I had a situation where, I don't know, there was something going on, and I got up to because I'll make just an English muffin.
Yeah.
Make an English muffin, toast it, and I'll make a green tea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in that process of making green tea and stuff. And then I come back to my cube and don't realize, because I didn't have my phone on me, it was on my desk, that I had gotten a call from somebody at the office, and then a message from that person from the office.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit, they probably think I'm fucking off or something.
Right.
When really, I just took a little break to get my green tea and my English muffin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of felt funny, like, oh shit. Like, sorry, I was in the kitchen and didn't have my phone on me.
Right.
And it kind of made me feel like maybe I shouldn't get up and, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I know, I understand.
Without advertising it, sure.
Yeah.
There's obviously the implication that you may be fucking off.
Yeah.
And that's either you're setting a status that says break in order to get past that.
Yeah.
Or you just have to be able to reconcile if someone comes at me sideways with, I tried to get a hold of you yesterday between here and here, and you were unavailable. Being able to prep that with, absolutely, I was on a break. I was taking my 15 minutes, blah, 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 and yeah, I was unavailable.
Yeah.
If you'd have called back, or I did reach you as soon as I was done. So you do have to have prep work. Now, if you're a lazy fuck and you're abusing the system, well, then there's no help for you, and you're the one that's fucking us up, fucking the rest of us up.
Right.
In abusing.
But I mean, that happens in the office.
Right. There was some dude, God, we got busted for this. Someone would have a macro running, some software macro running on his Windows desktop to move his mouse.
Oh my God.
So that his status was always active and busy. And so then there was this whole thing where third-party software and macro software was no longer allowed within my work. And it was like, and there was a whole bunch of us telecommuters that were like, people were actually going to that distance in order to, I mean, that does nothing if someone actually wanted to get a hold of you.
Right.
So you're just active but not paying attention. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be here anyway. You shouldn't be here anyway. If you're actually fucking off that hard.
Yikes.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I do take a lot more time now in the last 2 to 3 years. It's COVID. Like standing out and in the sun.
Mm.
Like there's anyone that is an office dweller and no longer active outside, like the vitamin D from sun, and it also does something to help keep me more awake, and alert throughout the day, to not try some shenanigans or listen to music or something, but to go out and stand out and close your eyes and look in the direction of the sun and just get a good face full of rays. Now, it's hot as balls out here lately, so that's pretty hard. But in the morning, it's perfect. It helps keep me snap me awake in the morning.
Yeah.
Plus, it's good. It gets me that distance away from the computer. The dogs come out there, shenanigans with the dogs for a little bit. staying in the sun,
Yeah.
get a little warmed up,
Well, that's what
and then walk back in.
That's what I was going to say was I'll take my lunch. I try to take my lunch at 1, which is the same when I was in the office. I would take lunch at 1. But if it's not hot as fuck outside like it has been for like the last couple weeks, 1 o'clock is my lunchtime, but typically would leave and take Max for a walk.
Right.
So take the dog for a walk, takes about 30, 35 minutes, come back, grab some food, make a snack or whatever.
Right.
That would be my typical lunchtime normally.
Right.
Most of the time, or a lot of times, not most of the time, a lot of times I don't even make food. I just take Max for a walk and get back to it. So, it is what it is. But we also had a situation with COVID, Shanna also working at home while I was working at home, which is...
Oh.
Yeah, she would be doing Zoom class, like at the kitchen table while I'm in the back at my desk working. And sometimes we would both be she would have a Zoom call and I would have a Teams meeting or something.
Yeah.
At the same time. It was weird.
I enjoyed the fuck out of it, especially this morning.
Yeah.
When Venus was like, she had headphones on, and I think Piper was making breakfast in the kitchen, and I came in the office to get some water, and Venus is like has her headset on, and she had Zoom shit, tiles of fucking people looking at her.
Yeah.
And I kind of went, oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
It appears the turns have tabled. Well, who's going to be the distraction now? And I walk in, I'm like, and then Piper and I kind of like looking at her like, hi ho. Hey, are you, this is important? Hey, hi, hello. And she's, but it was funny. Like, see?
Yeah, exactly.
For 18 fucking years. Are you trying to focus?
That's hilarious.
I'd like to go get the vacuum now.
Yeah.
Do some household shit. It was funny.
I mean, we were talking about moving my office into that other room, and I'm all down for it. And part of it is like, my work, part of my work is just having a lot of stuff from the office. So I have all this gear that's just, it's at a desk, but it's part of the family room. It's like the family room computer desk. And I want that. I don't want that in my family room because the amount of room between leisure and work is like 4 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the workspace is right there and the chill space, Netflix and chill space is right next to it.
Right.
And also I just don't want all that stuff in the family room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't wait for that process to happen. And I might not even I might just say fuck it and just move shit in and be like, okay, fine, I got to move it if we're going to replace the carpet or whatever. Right. Or I have to slide it into the middle of the room in order to paint, whatever. I can do that. That's just kind of how I'm like approaching it because I'm like, I kind of need. I think Dave actually talked about this at one point. He was like, "Oh, well, you need your own space," and I was like, "No, this is fine," because at the time my wife was going into work and I was the only one home.
Right.
Summertime, Melanie's home.
Right. Yeah.
Shanna's home.
Yes.
It makes a difference.
It does.
Especially if you're out in the middle of the family room trying to work and there's commotion going on.
Well, and there's two, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Dave. I think your employer is also afforded like some focus from your workspace as well.
Yeah.
I get it. You're at home. Venus, in her situation, it's only temporary, but she's out in the living room. She is afforded that space on her own. I work in the office, and Xander's busy in his room, and Piper is social butterfly or pretty much stays in her room. So she's afforded that space to dedicate 8 to 5:30 to do her thing.
Yeah.
And I think in order for telecommuting as a legitimate workspace to work, your employer should be afforded that respect. Like, if you're going to work someplace and say that you're productive, but yet you've got you're working in a soup kitchen, amount of activity, you're taking away from your ability to focus and do your job that your employer is paying you to do.
Right.
So having a workspace, and in your case where that seemed to be in flux for a while, but yeah, your intent, like when you started shop, it was like, no one else is here.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
This is fine as the space. But then as you see that ebb and flow as kids come, kids go, your employer starts to like, okay, yeah, but
I mean,
I want your talent all to me on the hours in which I'm paying you. So,
it doesn't change. I just, hey, the hands up.
Hey,
I'm busy.
Daddy's busy.
Yeah. You see me pounding away writing a bug. I mean, that's not the kind of time to come ask me about whether I can go on
Where
a
are the
squish
waffles
hunt,
at? Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, exactly.
Is there any more maple syrup? I'm trying to solve bugs.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. Well, the other one too is like, hey, just FYI, I've got a meeting at 10:30 today.
Yeah.
So that makes everybody scatter for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That seems to be the time frame. But it's just a different environment. I think if you move your office cube from the office into a whole nother space, you're going to have some amount of that kind of change difference anyway. But I'm looking forward to being able to move my stuff into that room.
Right.
And not because I don't want to be around people. It's just because like sometimes there is distraction in it.
Sure.
Yeah. I just don't want it.
A dedicated space to do that thing.
Yeah. And I don't want all this shit sitting out in my family room.
Right. Well, plus too, like you're saying, the segregation between my space, my personal space, and workspace becomes very, very key in being able to separate those two lives.
Right.
I need that mental break. I need that ability to detach. And as soon as you can, some people can just do it, mentally. And other people need a Chinese wall kind of thing. Need a door to shut or a curtain to pull or something. So that way you can say, now I'm back on my time, and you're either recuperating or rejuvenating or just distancing yourself from the space so that you can get it's home. It's home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your home back.
But interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we left last week's show
with
homework.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
No, I don't.
Okay. Fuck.
I've been so damn busy. I haven't even been to the gym.
So we're going to say...
Dude.
I'm ready to go back, dude.
Oh, I'm tomorrow.
I was waiting for Venus.
Tomorrow for sure.
Are you?
Yes.
And we're doing this tonight.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go on a 2-mile run tonight.
Oh.
Because...
Awesome.
One, we're going to see where her cough lungs are at.
Yeah.
Post-COVID.
Yeah.
But, we're still trying to be safe because she is coughing.
Yeah.
So
don't want to push it.
In time, she
might just get tired real easy.
Right. So we've just been bebopping. Okay.
So I forget. Sorry. So
it was Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
I asked you to tail into Stranger Things. Now, both volumes are out of season 4.
Yeah.
So if you've gotten to here's your hidden under a rock bullshit disclaimer. If you're here and you are a Stranger Things fan and you haven't caught up on Stranger Things, this is your opportunity to catch up next week.
Get out.
Watch the show, catch up next week.
Get out while you can.
3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. So I found it fascinating.
Yeah.
The anchor song concept. I can't remember if I've ever seen that somewhere else, but it's I thought it was used perfectly in this instance. So if you've watched the show, you probably know what I'm talking about, but this was the ability to pull yourself out of a trance from the big bad in Stranger Things by anchoring yourself back to your reality with a song.
Yeah.
And in the case of Max, it was the Kate Bush Run Up the Hill. Whatever it is that it's made it's made Kate Bush millions of dollars in royalties.
Oh, really?
So yeah, because she's the sole proprietor of all of the things for that album and that song. So there's no Def Jam or fucking Sony that's taking their cuts. She's it. She's at the top of the fucking pyramid, so she gets all of the royalties.
Oh, lucky her.
So Max gets into trouble. She puts on the song, and it runs the Kate Bush song, and it pulls her out of the big bad's clutches back to reality. So the question, we ended last week was, what would be your anchor song?
I have an answer for you.
Okay, so go. I'm
no
curious.
one would know who this is, but it's one of my favorite bands of all time.
Okay,
it's a band called Big Drill Car.
Okay,
and they have an album called Type Thing, CD or tape type thing, depending on what format it's on.
Okay,
it actually changes. And they have a song called 16 Lines. That would be my song.
That would be your song.
Yes.
Now, for her, she ends up listening to this thing essentially on a cassette, but it's on repeat.
Right.
And when I posed this to Venus and Piper, the topic that kind of came up as like as a side conversation was with Piper's friend group. It was they don't know if they could listen to something
over and over.
They don't know if they had a song that was so important to them that they could listen to it on a loop without it becoming annoying. And a lot of them didn't necessarily have a song like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe Piper actually said a song. And we had that conversation to ourselves like almost probably 5 minutes ahead of Venus walking down the hallway and then jumping in the conversation, and me asking Venus the same question. What would be your anchor song? And Venus knew, like, before I had a chance to take another breath to explain it, it was the Over the Rainbow song by Iz.
Oh,
the ukulele song.
Yeah.
Which was surprising to me. One, because she knew so fast. She knew it without hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought, I'll be honest, I thought maybe perhaps the Princess Bride theme maybe would have been in there.
Okay.
But for her, without a doubt, like the happiness anchor could listen to it on repeat is Over the Rainbow. Good song. Loved it. Good choice.
Yeah.
I went back to the office because I thought I knew. Here was my problem.
Yeah.
I thought I knew what that would be for me, and I thought it would be the Halo theme. It's like a cantorum of the right from the Halo. And when I started to listen to the soundtrack of the first, second, and third game, I realized, one, I really enjoyed those soundtracks. I think the Halo game soundtracks probably set a bar for video games having above average quality music that other games aspire to. But in listening to the soundtracks and the tracks that specifically the one theme and cantorum song that I was thinking of, I went, that's a really good song, but maybe I'm looking for something else. And I spent the better part of 2 hours like going through various things, and this is where my thing to Mike came up, because Google Music, before they rolled over to YouTube Music, used to have a counter, and I used to be pretty much a dedicated Google Music user. I imported all of my burned CDs into Google Music.
Yeah, iTunes is like that too.
Right, for a number of years. And I would just listen to my catalog of music in like assorted playlists, like add rinse repeat. And Google Music used to show you a counter of how many times you used to listen to a song. And I thought, oh, well, here's what I'll do. Because while I really loved the Halo shit, it didn't feel like it was hitting what I thought it was. Well, so I'll go to Google Music.
See what your top played
and to see what my top song played was and see, well, what made that so special to me? And Google Music rolling into YouTube Music, that shit was gone. And unless I wanted to like go to some free app that pulled that stat that probably tied into the app, like fucking, I don't want you with my credentials to. It's not that important. So, but I did have access to my old playlists, and I started running through some stuff, and I'm like, man, oh, okay, I remember. Okay, these playlists were important to me. So I started to write down.
I have another one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so give it to me before I start.
Before you start on yours.
Okay. So it was Big Drill Car.
16 lines.
Okay.
But another song that I just fucking love, that I've played on its own countless times. Is Paul Oakenfold, Starry-Eyed Surprise.
Oh.
Fucking that song.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a fucking punk rock guy. That song, there's something about that song.
Starry-Eyed Surprise.
Yeah. I love that song.
How weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Paul Oakenfold is on my...
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh. I love that shit.
So the Halo song that I was thinking of was actually from the Halo 2 soundtrack. It was the Mjolnir mix. The Halo 3 One Final Effort song, Halo 3 Finish the Fight song, were all in my like, those are really important. But I felt like maybe I'd grown out of them.
Yeah.
So 2 shockers for going through my Google playlist that I hadn't realized were special.
I don't think I'm going to be shocked.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
The Transformers theme.
Oh, really?
From the cartoon movie by Lion.
Wow. No, I don't even think I know that song.
And the other one from the same movie, the Dare song by Stan Bush. So these are big hair guys.
Okay.
And I can only think of those are like always like hit a chord with me. Guitar speaking, because Transformers are still a thing for me, and I love the shit out of that cartoon. The entire Hysteria album by Def Leppard.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Wow, every song on here I really fucking like.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that? Appetite of Destruction, the Guns N' Roses album.
Okay.
Also, the entire album, like, but I think it ties into like youth things that all like hit beat and trigger memory stuff.
Yes.
Queensryche.
Okay.
What I thought was going to be a Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood album.
Okay.
Also like hit a bunch of stuff. What I thought was going to be it was Champion by Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
But I kept going through my list. There was a number of Paul Oakenfold and Steve Aoki. I can't remember the name of the Steve Aoki album. Neon Dreams or something like that. A track by Muse. A Whitesnake, Here I Go Again. But what it ended up being. And
so these are all just considerations.
These were all considerations.
Okay.
These were all like, wow, I didn't realize how much I really loved that song. And the Def Leppard and the 80s big hair shit was a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I haven't heard this stuff in decade plus. The Crystal Method, Paul Oakenfold, Steve Aoki stuff was a lot of Charlotte.
Okay.
When I moved out to Charlotte, and like stuff that I had on rinse repeat and loved the shit out of. When I hear Crystal Method, the Vegas album, I instantly am transported to riding shotgun in my friend's 300ZX, T-Top 300ZX, driving hard shit in Charlotte up to Grandfather Mountain. It's like I can feel it and smell it, that kind of like memory stuff. But the song that it ended up being, and I say this because as soon as I hit play, I got like the goosebumpies and I closed my eyes and went, yeah, that's my jam. It was Drive by Moog.
Oh, really?
Really.
Wow.
A very unassuming song.
I feel like he needs to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just one, and there was a couple others
He
of
makes good music.
His song Bullet is also up there.
Yeah.
But the moment I hit play on that song, I closed my eyes and went,
yeah,
that's my jam.
You have one whole album though? Because I can think of a whole album that I could say I could listen to every single song. I have a couple, but there's one album in particular that I can listen to the entire thing, and I'm not unhappy with any of the music.
Destiny 2 soundtrack.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's orchestra. It's like a big band stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought about posing this question to you like months ago, and it was going to be in the frame of, if you were to, in your will, if you were to request an album that is etched into your tombstone, like what would that one album be?
Oh man, see that changes.
And for me, right, and that was what was different for me than this song, because if I was to make a statement, like, what kind of music would I want someone to really know that I appreciated and meant something important to me?
Yeah.
And it was an album in its entirety. What would that be?
Okay, so that album for me, giving it some context, would be the people that I'm with that listen to it that also love it, which is my family, my wife and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give any fucks about previous stuff that I used to listen to, or that I still listen to, but were from like the 80s or 90s.
Okay.
There are several albums from that time frame that I would put on that list. Several albums, because there's just enough good music. But the one album I would put on there that covers the basis for quite a few people and for everybody, as far as my closest family, is Two Door Cinema Club's Tourist History.
I have never heard of this.
Oh my gosh. That album, every song on that album puts a smile on my face, and every song I know the fucking words to.
Really?
Yes. It is that good.
What type of music is it?
It's kind of 80s style, late 80s style, kind of pop music.
Okay.
But it's current stuff. I mean, it came out in 2010.
Okay.
That album they have several albums. That one is the best. It is that good. And you know, the way I found out about them is I didn't know who Two Door Cinema Club was. At the office, one of our feeds at the time was MTV, and they were doing live shows. And they came up on this show, and it was probably like Glastonbury. It was a live concert. And I was like, this song fucking kicks ass. Who is this? So I found out who they were, and I think I recorded a little snippet of it for my wife and sent her a video, and I was like, hey, you would really like these guys. They're really good.
Huh.
And that's how it kind of got kicked off at our house about Two Door Cinema Club. That album is, everyone in my house likes it. Not even likes it, loves it. We have all talked about going and seeing them live.
Oh.
Just haven't made it. But that album is that good. Every song. There isn't a song on that record where I go, oh, skip this one. No, they're all good.
Wow.
Every one. That good. I think I was listening to it one day. I pulled up here out real loud, and you're like, what was that? And I was like, it's Two Door Cinema Club. And you're like, huh?
Yeah,
I thought you listened to rock, punk, and shit. And I'm like, no, that's...
Two Door Cinema. What's the name of the album?
Tourist History.
Tourist History.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, that would be... If I had to pick an album, that would be it.
Yeah.
For sure. So, but the thing is like, music is a part of me enough that, like, I'm from the generation that listened to albums. So I have a cache of full albums or EPs even that I listen to front to back that are all that I would consider every song to be good on. That one is like way up there on the chart.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of those.
You know, and I was thinking about that kind of concept as I was listening through a number of songs. In particular, you know, the Guns N' Roses, the Motley Crue, and the Def Leppard. Obviously, big hair band stuff, but that was late 80s, early 90s for me.
Yeah.
And the concept of every song, at least 90% of the songs on an album being bangers, pretty much ended for me in the mid 90s. Like I could count maybe a Soundgarden, a Nirvana, maybe a Smashing Pumpkins album. It's a handful of musical artists. Crystal Method, certainly in Vegas, is obviously a back-to-back, but that came out a little bit later. But once we got out of the 90s, I feel like albums as an entire consumable object being like, this whole thing is fucking banger.
Yeah, well, because people don't buy that way anymore.
Right.
They hear the single, they buy the single. They don't look into what other music is good by that artist. Albums are...
I'm trying to think of another one that surprised me that maybe came later. There was a Kings of Leon album that I did enjoy the entire thing of.
Yeah.
It's very surprising, but also a different style of music than I'm typically ingest.
Yeah, I like some Kings.
God. Fallout Boy, I guess, if they're not uber current. Weezer did a couple of those where I was interested in those. But yeah, when you can buy your music a la carte and artists are now kicking out EPs instead of full...
Or even just releasing a single.
Yeah, they're just doing singles at a whack. Yeah. It's like, fuck. Dr. Dre and Snoop, full albums of rap that I enjoyed entirely. Eminem.
Beastie Boys.
Yeah, Beastie Boys.
Oh, shit. The Paul's Boutique album.
But if you set a watermark at like 2010, I think
you're hard pressed to find a record.
I personally would be hard pressed to find an entire record.
Two Door Cinema Club. That was 2010.
Was it?
Yeah.
My wife and daughter might say that they could probably find an answer in a Taylor Swift album. And they would probably be right. That's just a little bit outside my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, but not a whole album fan.
My daughter would say like Meghan Trainor or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like...
And I wonder if that's perhaps the age separation. But to me, if I have an artist that I enjoy a track of...
I want to get to know more of
I would listen to an entire album, and I still have yet to find a full-blown...
I mean, I'm one of those kind of idiots that doesn't subscribe to like Apple Music. I just buy albums on iTunes.
No.
I still buy albums on iTunes. Still.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So and so has a new thing they just dropped. Cool. $9.99 or whatever it is. Buy it. That's how I am. I get sad when I realize I don't have a CD or vinyl of the thing.
Yeah.
I still have crap loads of vinyl at home. And I have shit tons of CDs still.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you do this to yourself?
Because the format is awesome, first of all. It just sounds really good.
Are you constantly shuffling
No,
CDs
I don't listen to
shit?
CDs. I rip them and then I have them on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I've got like 5,500 songs on my phone. I'm dead serious.
You might have problems there.
Well, I mean, CarPlay, I don't have Apple Music. So that is, if I want to listen to my own stuff, that's where I'm listening to it, is from my library. I can get music. I subscribe to Sirius XM.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a couple channels we listen to there. And I did that for a couple road trips so that we would have something different.
Right.
And they don't want to listen to my stuff in the car. Fine. That's fine. There's also Spotify, like Shan has Spotify.
Right.
And so, we have a mix, but we have Sirius XM. There's Pearl Jam channel. Right now there's a Red Hot Chili Pepper channel.
Mm-hmm.
The Lithium channel. And there's another one that's like kind of 80s, like OMD, Depeche Mode. Like there's a channel that does a bunch of shit like that, which is awesome. I love that stuff too.
Right.
I don't pigeonhole. I mean, I'm a punk rock kid, but I don't pigeonhole myself enough that I can't broaden.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Like when I drive down the street, you're going to hear just short of anything.
Sure.
Like sometimes it's just orchestra.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's big band. Sometimes it's fucking punk. Sometimes it's rock. And if you were at the Home Depot light the other day and you're listening to me and Def Leppard and Animals, well then fucking you got all the decibels.
Right.
And me singing, because fucking Def Leppard, man.
Oh, I remember like ripping Journey with my buddy back in junior high, and I had a Def Leppard pin on my jean jacket that I wore every day. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I listened to a lot of different stuff. It wasn't until probably just before high school that I started getting into more offline stuff,
Yeah.
One of the best albums of all time, in my opinion, is a band called Dag Nasty, and the album is called Can I Say? Another one of those examples.
Yeah.
No one knows about this record. I mean, other than people in the punk rock world know about Dag Nasty. That album, front to back, every song.
Fire.
Fucking, it is, if you want to like get pumped up, and I know every fucking lyric of every song on that record. And I can sing it. Ass toast.
Oh, yeah. Ass toast.
Ass toast. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of those records, but considering Two Door is loved by everybody in my household.
That makes it special.
It makes it more special, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you were to put
it's more relatable.
That would be your Tombstone
probably
disc anthology.
Everyone loves that
reference.
Shit. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it.
Maybe I have, and I just don't recognize the name. If they were on MTV, I find it hard to believe I wouldn't recognize a song once it comes across my ear holes.
I kind of wonder if maybe you've heard it and just didn't know who it was.
Right.
Yeah. It's possible.
I'm going to say that's probably where I'm going to go. Unless I don't recognize it, but I'll listen to it tonight just to see.
Oh, it's good. It's I don't know if you're into that stuff. It's very poppy and fun, but there's a lot of good hooks, and the fucking drummer rips, and they're just good. They're just good. They're from like Ireland or something, so they're not even from here, or Scotland or something.
Oh,
yeah,
from across the pond, eh?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, so yeah, I feel that.
Okay, we're at time.
Music is
it's special, man.
Music,
and in case you ever get possessed by demons, make sure they didn't really cover that. I felt like that was like a miss. Like I would have found it really interesting to know. Like I felt like not talking about that with every character, at least that was part of that group involved there, would have been interesting to hear what each of their anchor songs would have been. Like you could have
Well,
told
that
me,
means they
like,
would have.
what was Dustin's song?
They all would have been in jeopardy, though, and that wasn't going to work.
Right. But, in case I start to do the thing, like, give me the Walkman and here's my tape.
Right.
Like, what was Eddie's? What was, based off of the thing, it would have been some sort of Metallica song because he was playing it.
Yeah.
But, what was Dustin's? What was Eddie's? What was Nancy's? What was Steve's? Fuck. What's the... oh, my God. The other Ahoy worker with Steve. The other girl.
Oh.
Ethan Hawke's daughter.
I can't think of her name.
Yeah. What would her song have been?
I don't know.
Everyone should have had a song like, here's my tape. If I start go into the shit, give me the headphones and put my tape in.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to hear what all of their songs would have been.
Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to have more in like fucking 3 years or whatever.
Yeah. See in season 5 in 3 years.
They're all going to be like married and have kids.
Yeah.
By that time.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
That's it. That's a wrap on episode 200.
Wow. It's been a long... That's 200 weeks of shows.
Yeah.
Think about that. 200 weeks. Every week we've done a show. We have not missed since we started.
You have not missed.
That's true. That is true. I might miss one.
Yeah.
I might miss one here coming up shortly, though.
For Oregon?
Portland, yeah.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, that's for another day.
Time.
Yeah. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Yeah. And check your oil, Tony.
Return the cart. Wear the mask.
Yeah, wear the mask. Do the kindness.
And we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening.
All right, bye.
Take it easy.